Shabbat Shalom, everybody. This is Rabbi Stephen, Rav Shmuel, with you with this week's Devar Torah. I got a little bit of feedback. So just to set the record straight, there's my yarmulke. It's on the back of my head. I kind of like wearing smaller yarmulkes, in the back of my head, kind of hides my bald spot, which is kind of a good thing. But just wanted to let you know, yes, I wear my yarmulkes, and I wear my yarmulke, my kippah. Yarmulke is actually the Yiddish word. Kippah is the Hebrew word, and skull cap is the English translation. I wear it out, and usually I wear my tzitzits as well. And all I can say is so far, so good. I know that a lot of people, a lot of Jews are concerned about expressing their Jewishness, wearing any type of jewelry, putting a mezuzah on their door, and that's a concern. Which kind of brings me to a little bit of an awkward topic, because I've been doing, when I do a sermon on a Friday night, I like to be upbeat. I like to be positive. I like to have messages of hope and empowerment and things like that. And it's very challenging these days with what's going on in Israel and what's going on around the world with us Jews. But it's reality. I know that it disturbs people, but I feel we have to face it. I don't talk about things like this all the time. I like to discuss principles of Judaism that are relevant, but it's not going away. This war in Israel, it's not going away yet. And there was an article that I just read that a lot of Jews are, especially in Israel, a lot of Israelis are feeling abandoned by the world and alone. And we kind of are. If you look at the way the world treats us, we're held to a higher standard, which, by the way, we should be. God gave us 1600, wow, 613 mitzvot. And again, I've been told by one of the rabbis at Sofer on site that checks the writing on our Torah, make sure it's kosher, that the word mitzvah actually means connection. It's our connection to Hashem. And we're held to a higher standard because we accepted those mitzvah. We said we will do and we will hear. So all eyes are on us. We are fighting a war in Israel that one general, a former active general, discussed on a news show that I heard, that said that we're showing the world how to fight a war. We're doing our best to keep the civilian casualties down, and so far success. Yeah, there are some collateral damage. That's what happens when you have a war. That's why you avoid wars at all costs. It is what it is, But here's the good news. The good news is that we've been around for thousands of years, and we will continue to be around for thousands of years. The good news is that when you look at the polls about support of Americans, it's anywhere from 62 to 82% of Americans support Israel and support I say we because those are our brothers and sisters that are fighting that fight. What we are doing, how we are fighting that war, and the fact that Hamas, a terrorist organization, intruded into our ancient land. They killed people, and they're fighting the fight, and this time it's for keeps. So, okay, let's depart from that. But think about it. We're strong people. We really are. We have lasted this long. We've stayed put because we are strong, and that's to our credit. And we will overcome. We will persist. So take heart in that. We're coming up to Passover, and that celebrates our birth as a nation. It really does. The fact that we left our captivity, our slavery, and we started to begin life anew as a nation. And here we still are. So let's talk about Tazria, this week's portion. Okay, Tazria. As they say, as the commentary is in the Eitz Chaim Chumash, which is the latest Chumash issued or sanctioned by the Rabbinical Assembly of Conservative Judaism, they basically say last week's portion discussed what went into our body. This week's portion talks about what comes out. So it starts out with the laws of purity. That's basically that's how Rabbi Hertz in the Hertz Chumash describes it. These are the laws of purity. Some people say they're laws of health. Some people say, no, it's just holiness. It's the same. Why kashrut? Why eat this and not that? What made Hashem determine which animals are suitable for consumption and which animals aren't? Well, those are the animals that are holy. Well, what makes them holy? A cleft hoof and chewing their cud? What's holy about that? The point is, it's a decree. It doesn't really matter. God says it. We have this covenant and we do it. And basically it allows you to take control over temptation. Same reason, one of the reasons why we fast during Yom Kippur. So what are the laws of purity? Okay, a woman gives birth and they are impure. Now, that could be taken a lot of different ways. And a lot of them are wrong. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the woman. I mean, let's look at this. One of the first commandments we get, the first connections, is be fruitful and multiply. Women are spiritually more evolved than men because they're closer to God, because they create life, they give birth, they gestate for 9 months or so, and we get a new life, new independent life. That's beautiful. So some people conjecture that for a woman to stay secluded for a week or 2 weeks, depending on whether it's a boy or a girl, and why the difference. Some people say that on the 8th day, a boy gets circumcised where a girl doesn't, obviously. So the woman can take the extra time. People say, well, she's just had some medical event and she needs to protect herself. She's got an open wound. Let's make sure that, we maintain the sanctity of her health and the sanctity of her life by not really isolating her, but just giving her her own space, allowing her body to recuperate after 9 months of growing a new life in her womb, right? So in a way, it's kind of like respect. So the idea of the purity is not a negative connotation. It's really, think of it, to protect the woman. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Now, people say, well, then she has to bring an offering, a sin offering and a burnt offering. What's the sin offering for? Well, some women, when they have birth, they get a little bit hot under the collar, right? It's not an easy thing to do. So people say, well, a woman may have impure thoughts, so, why not do a sin offering? Remember that when Aaron and his sons and the Levites are consecrated and ordained as priests and ministers, they too bring a sin offering before the burnt offering. And the burnt offering is for that connection with Hashem. But the sin offering is to say, look, we know you're humans, and we have impure thoughts. And these are the Levites and the priests, the Kohanim. This is to absolve you of that, to say, okay, well, I recognize that I may have sinned, or I probably did. And this is a way of becoming pure. Same thing with a woman. So it's basically to get a person back on the path of holiness, of connecting with Hashem and doing the mitzvah, getting back to your daily routine after the 9-month interruption of, gestating and ultimately bearing a child. The next part of it is about blemishes. It's all blemishes all the time. That's what it is. People get blemishes on their skin. And there are different types. Is it above the skin, below the skin? Is it white? Is it red? Is it growing? Does it have a hair? Is it a white? All sorts of stuff that you really don't want to discuss when you're eating. It's kind of like, wow, why does the Torah go through a half a portion of discussing skin blotches? I mean, what's the point? Well, you're out in the sun, you're out in the Middle East, it's 3,500 years before the invention of antibiotics. So, you got to kind of be careful. Okay, then why go to the priest and not a doctor? Why don't they have doctors there? Why a priest? Because the idea is that when these things happen, they're connected to some sin. Now, the Art Scroll, the Orthodox Chumash, kind of goes into that. And basically, these skin ailments are a result of Lashon Hara. Somebody who tale bears, somebody who talks evil about somebody, Lashon Hara, literally the evil tongue. So this is a way that a person is going to be secluded until these blotches cleared up, or basically you've been talking I'm not sure what the expression is these days, but you've been talking bad about people, you're going to be secluded where you can't talk bad about people, where you can't influence people. That's your punishment. Okay. So that's part of it. Even, walking through the community going up, stay away, I've got a blotch. So it's a way to separate, to seclude somebody who is running off at their mouth in the wrong way against people. So consider that. Judaism puts a lot of emphasis on telling the truth and not hurting somebody with your words. It could be like a living death. So, okay. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got a kick out of my yarmulke. And, I don't want to upset people, but I do want to make sure that we're in touch with what's going on. But consider this, even though it's tough right now, it will work out. It always has, always will. God is watching us. We have to go through our challenges, but in the end, we will prevail. Shabbat Shalom.